Hi, I'm Daniel C. Shrine, and I'm here to tell you about my walkaway story. But first, I'm going to let you know a little bit about my family history. During World War II, both my parents were captured by the Japanese on the islands of Indonesia. My father was a belly gunner, and he was a sergeant major in the Air Force, and he flew with the American fleet and the English fleet. My mother worked for the Japanese. Sorry about that. My mother worked for the Japanese doing embroidery and other things that they liked. But during that time, things were getting really hairy over there in the South Pacific, so my parents were thrown into the concentration camps. My mother, who was a woman of integrity, would not sleep with the lieutenant in charge of the camp, so he had her whipped. But he favored her a whole lot, and so he continued giving her extra rations. My dad swore that he would never, ever live under a regime like that or allow anything like that to happen to him or his children. So in 1957, we decided to immigrate to the United States of America. During the time before that, my parents were also considering moving here and started the process. So in Europe, during the same time my parents were thrown in a concentration camp, my other relatives in Europe were thrown in Auschwitz, and they were murdered, tortured, and experimented on. And that really upset both my parents. And they knew what communism and socialism could do to people. So, with that said, we moved to America in 1957. My parents had to learn English, pick a number, and wait their turn to come to America. Upon arriving in 1957, both my parents continued in their education to speak English on a better, higher level. Us kids learned English in the United States, so that was not a problem. In 1976, I became a naturalized American citizen. When we were all there in one room, there were 200 of us from different countries. And the judge said to us that we are a blessed and privileged people because we chose America. And doing that, we knew what we wanted. And he said that many Americans born here in America do not even know the privilege of being an American. But we knew, we studied, we became part, we assimilated, and we added our culture to embetter our environment and our country. So this is my story now. During the Vietnam conflict, I didn't really care about politics. I was not involved. My dad registered as a Republican when we came to the United States. So, when the Vietnam conflict happened, I started looking around and saying, oh my God, there are some things here that are just not adding up and right. What made me really look more at the problem was Jane Fonda and her horrendous anti-American rants. So after the Vietnam conflict, I got more involved in politics. So in 1992, against my better judgment, I voted for Slick Willie. After 2 years in his term, I just got horrified. And I came back to the fold. And ever since then, I voted Republican. Even if the person running for office was an idiot and stood for the Republic, I would rather vote for that than any socialist agenda. So in the last year or so, I started surfing the net, looking to find people to connect up with who had the same values as I did. I'm a man of faith, I'm a Christian, and even good people that aren't necessarily of any religious faith, but believe in this country and its principles. So I stumbled across the WalkAway site, and I started listening to everybody's testimonies. Oh my gosh, I just wept. I'm a weeper. Yeah, I'm strong, but I'm a weeper. Men do cry. But anyway, so I came across the WalkAway, and I just joined. And ever since then, I've been part of a huge, huge movement. Not just a movement, but a family. Of people who believe in the principles of this republic. Not just walking away, but helping other people understand the principles of this Constitution of this great nation. And I urge everybody, and I encourage everybody to continue reaching out to those and show the left, the socialists, the commies, what this republic stands for. We need to fight and maintain our freedoms. My dad is rolling over in his grave to see what's happened to this wonderful country. My wife is Norwegian. Her name is Signe. I have 2 children, and they also are in politics, but not as involved as me, and we are all conservatives. I thank you all for listening to this story, and I hope you can continue in spreading the good news of the WalkAway message. Thank you very much.